on eve of some president having to step down because of the period coming to an end, the people become clever and change the constitution so they can continue endlessly. You're violating the constitution which you saw to become who you became. And that's cheating your people. Not until they would respect the people they purport to lead. Others from outside would not come to respect us.
Before his retirement, John Kufuor built a reputation as the father of modern Ghana. Under his 2 terms, he didn't just lead a nation, he chaired the African Union and ECOWAS. He oversaw the highest economic growth in the history of his nation, transforming Ghana's per capita income by over 300% without detaining a single political prisoner.
Gold from Ghana that got landed there was valued at about 7 billion United States.
Wow.
1 year. But you come to Ghana, go to the central bank, about the exports that left Ghana, gold exports to that particular country, they tell you just $2 billion. How do we reconcile this? It's like these people come, as they give a pittance to us, the natives, and they smuggle the thing out.
On this episode, we sat down with His Excellency Dr. John Kufuor to examine the concept of the African citizen and the difficult trade-offs behind true servant leadership.
Already about 60% of our populations, people under 35, they are majority on the continent, and they are better educated, they're learning fast. They're also trying to master the new technologies. Yeah. So if we would talk to free the pigeonholing of their vision and that sort of thing, so they come to see the benefits here on our land and their entitlement to share in these benefits, we would be unleashing such a powerful force.
Today's guest is one of Africa's most iconic statesmen whose leadership helped shape what is today modern Ghana. He ruled and led the country from 2001 for a term, 2 terms, 8 years. And during this time, Ghana experienced tremendous economic growth, political stability, and he didn't just lead Ghana, he led the AU, he led ECOWAS, and Africa's leadership story can never be complete without his mention. I'm excited, I'm deeply, deeply honored to have with me His Excellency Dr. John Kufuor. I use the word doctor because he's got several honorary doctorates, if he doesn't like to use them. Your Excellency, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. I'll begin from just by your side there. There's this beautiful flag where all of Africa, 26 countries plus, leaders from business, from politics, from civil society, all gathered to celebrate a leader whose impact continues to speak volumes many, many years after he's left office. This is what we consider true African leadership. And you were honored with the Legacy Award yesterday.
Yes.
Can you speak to this? What does it mean to you? And what does it inspire you to do?
Africa is a huge continent with great history, very ancient history, and very rich lands, full of mineral wealth, great water courses. We are told very arable land. We are told about 60% of all the arable lands left on this planet are on our continent of Africa. Those are the natural resources, but the human quality, I tell you, we haven't even scratched the worth of the humanity on this continent. And that's where the key is. So for me to be honored the way I was yesterday with this presentation, I thought I've got to perhaps the highest point in life. And so I was overwhelmed. I really didn't know that this honor was in the works till just about a week or so back, when I was told you were staging this conference or whatever, and that you were bringing here leaders like Dr. Kikwete, former president of Tanzania, and yesterday there was Prime Minister of Lesotho, and other delegates from all over.
Yes.
Finance Minister of Sierra Leone, all of them gathering, and that I would be a recipient for what, and said leadership, because I served my country, Ghana, of course, and then also served the continent, first regionally as a twice chair of ECOWAS in West Africa, and then chair of the African Union itself, and then the many other services we rendered on the continent. So, well, I thought I should just thank God and my people for getting the opportunity to be of service and also to be appreciated by the continent this way. So it's historic.
Indeed.
And I was overwhelmed, and I thank you very much.
And I must say congratulations are in order again. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your well-deserved. I am a recipient of that inspiration. You inspire me personally. Some of the things we do is we look at your story, we see your example, and we are proud to say we are one of your children. Yes, Africa, your children all over the continent. So congratulations again, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
And recently you were in Abuja, where you were also invited to honor one of Nigeria's former leader, General Murtala Mohammed.
Yes.
And he's been he said he presented a speech many years ago at the AU as Africa Come of Age. You asked that question again.
Well, in fact, when I was invited, and the letter of invitation was signed by the widow of General Murtala.
Wow.
And it was in the letter that I should come and address the issue, whether Africa had come of age. It intrigued me. But then, so I was forced to, in a way, research a bit. And I found that it was her husband who, I think in 1975, 76, I think it must have been the only occasion he had to address the African Organization of African Unity in Addis Ababa. He was then a very young president at age 36. And he was president or head of state for only 200 days. So the occasion he had to address the Organization of African Unity, he seized to address with the topic, Africa has come of age, and that Africa should not continue to be talked down to suffer indignities. And he laid out a whole philosophy of life, upholding the African humanity as equal to others. And that Africa should begin to do its own things with dignity, confidence, and for inclusive development of the peoples. So with this research for background, and then the topic that was suggested in the letter, I went to Abuja, and then I talked the way I talked from my heart
again,
and also from history and from my belief in humanity generally.
Wow. And that's a powerful philosophy. And it's underpinned your leadership, your legacy over the years.
That's what has guided me.
I can tell.
Life,
But in answering that question, or in speaking to that, I try to find the position. But I don't want to be the one to say, what's your take? Have we come of age?
Yes. In the sense that Africa still gets pushed into the margins, say when in global events, even at the United Nations, it's like it's still a rivalry between East and West. The East and West in inverted commas. West and the East idea and the ideologies, and then currently the debate is fashioned like between autocracy and democracy. And when they talk like that, they are talking of the perceived great powers.
Yes.
Hegemonic powers. And Africa is treated like but it's not that Africa hasn't got the potential to stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the people. So I looked at the whole thing and I said, no, perhaps the real problem is that Africa, unfortunately, down history, geography, and colonialism, and even after colonialism, if you like, the evolution of governance within our forced boundaries, because I say forced because the boundaries were imposed upon Africa.
Us, yes.
The Berlin Conference under Bismarck that sort of divided Africa arbitrarily.
Yes.
And then the way the resulting states came to be sort of owned by the colonial authorities, forcing their languages and cultures on us over the past about 150, 200 years. All these vestiges have kept Africa very divided. And on the continent, ideally we talk Africa as if it is an entity, one unit. But in reality, in practice, we are seeing so much diversity, varied backgrounds. Take West Africa alone. Move from Senegal to, if you like, Cameroon or even Nigeria. Some Lusophone, Anglophone, Francophone,
all of them.
Confucian,
Yes.
and then various religions. And we tear at each other because of these divisions that were imposed on us. They were imposed on us. And it's not as if we can't do anything about them. The challenge, though, has been for us to awaken the people generally to see what they share in common, and then also to try to give themselves the leaders that will be truly servant leaders of integrity and vision, so Africa will be freed from the seeming insurmountable divisiveness that afflicts us
today.
And keep us like poor when there's so much worth everywhere we turn. That should benefit the people across the board.
You've really been one voice that's spoken about the legacy of colonialism on our people, and you're speaking to it again. And one of the statements you made there was that colonialism seems to have diabolically affected our psyche.
Yes.
And it got me thinking.
Yeah.
And I've been asking, yes, I have a few thoughts, but how does it look like in today's world? Some people feel we are no more colonized, but we still see the vestiges of it.
That's what, but it's not the, if you like, the legalese, the official declaration of independence with constitutions and flags and so forth. No, it's psychological.
The psyche.
The brainwashing. So that, let me take the example of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, or Ghana and Togo. I tell you, the borders between our countries, they are so artificial. They divide same peoples, if you like, tribes, from the coast right up to the Sahelian parts. You move from Ghana, between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. From the coast, the tribe is in Zima. Part of it in Ghana, part of it in the other. You move up a bit, Ani in Ghana, in Cote d'Ivoire. Sevi, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire. Bono, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire. Akan, Asante. Late Ufebwani always said he was Asante man, but he was caught in the Baule homeland, right in the center of Cote d'Ivoire. You move on, Lobi, all
the story is the same.
North. And the sad thing is, even till now, you want to communicate with your cousin over there because he was conditioned to look towards Paris. You want to talk with them till recently. You had to phone to Paris, and then the call was redirected to Cote d'Ivoire. And then when you were talking, because they described themselves Francophony, French, and you English, the communication very hard. And the same to the east of Ghana, Togo, the same. So he said, what is it all about? And unfortunately, because of the conditioning to and our attachment to the so-called metropolitan countries, businesses, economic interaction and all that, you have to go back to Europe before you
can come back to Africa
and do business. And then we were all reduced to producing raw materials to be processed in those places, to enrich them, and we, the slave labor, was left with that. It's been so till now. And we, even as we talk industrialization. But because financial institutions and we're all like conditioned. We are still struggling to industrialize even basically. Transportation, same. So it's something we must overcome.
It's a stronghold. But we've been told identifying the problem is finding solution pathways somehow already. And I'm excited that leaders like you are speaking to this. You're identifying that these problems still exist. I believe one of the responses was Pan-Africanism towards addressing this. But it seems to be a paradox, again, like you spoke to. How can we really move Pan-Africanism?
Pan-Africanism has been in the works for decades. And the initial, the pioneering, if you like, freedom fighters for independence, like Kwame Nkrumah and others, they somehow sensed it, that we needed to break down the differences and then to come together to make a difference. But then, whereas they enunciated and espoused Pan-Africanism, they sounded more like the proverbial prophet in the wilderness. They didn't come down to the people. And when they became the pioneering presidents, they would meet in conferences, which later resulted in the formation of Organization of African Unity, and talk Pan-Africanism. The black man can do his own thing without depending on. They talked among the presidents and the leaders, all right. They meant well. But the mechanisms to use to really move their peoples to break the jinx, the mechanisms were not in place. And they didn't seem to have the way to work the practical for pragmatic solutions. So again, this has been the situation till even as we speak. So every year, our leaders would meet in conferences in Addis Ababa or elsewhere, or in the regional groupings, and talk unity. We must trade. We must transportation across the continent, and we hear all these things. But it was more like talk among the presidents. When they went back to their homes, the people were not involved. So even as we speak, you stop the average person in the streets of Accra, and you want to discuss anything about a sister country like Nigeria, just 300 miles to the east, about, say, what's happening in the streets of Lagos.
No idea.
You go to Lagos and talk about what's happening in the streets of Accra. In fact, the Lagosian may not even have time to say, I don't have time for that. So you can move further into Central Africa and then to East Africa, say Nairobi, and you'll be lost altogether. Move southwards to Johannesburg, you'll be lost. So they meant well. They've always sensed that there was some
need for
job to do to bring Africa, the peoples of Africa, people to people, to really try to make change radically. But the mechanisms have not been in place. So the conferences are taking place, and more these days, you get people meeting in conferences for trade, and incidentally, the countries now they've signed or ratified treaty for what they call an African Continental Free Trade Authority, which is Cotonou. How much trade is going on? People may want to trade, but I tell you, you try to move your goods from Accra through Togo, through Benin to Nigeria. As I say, short distance of just 300 miles altogether. And the borders you'd have to cross, the negotiations you'd be lucky if you can do the 300-mile journey in even a week.
Wow.
So this is it. They are trying, they sense it. But it seems like we are crawling when we should really be flying or sprinting. And so it gets frustrating. And so this is where we are.
So the missing link is the people not involved.
The people are not involved. And unfortunately, their governments, their leaders, I think the psychological challenge is still that to find ways and means to remove the obstacles, the hurdles, so the people would come to know themselves, each other, and to interact for solutions. So it's not just the people, the governments, of course, the languages and connections with the outside influences and so forth and so on. We must get to know ourselves a lot more.
Intentionally.
There must be purposeful effort to remove the hurdles so things would flow as fast, because the current world really is not waiting for anybody. With the new technologies and things are hurtling all over, and for Africa, it's still lethargic.
Wow. It's sad, and it's so true, because I remember a business person who wanted to send onions from Nigeria to Liberia. It took 2 weeks.
2 weeks. By the time
I get there, all the onions were bad.
Destroyed.
Because of these hurdles. Thank you so much again, Your Excellency, for speaking to this. And you've also spoken to the concept of the African citizen.
Yes.
As one of the pathways. Can you speak more?
Because of the frustrations, as I said, over the past 6 years, I've been engaged with some like-minded colleagues and friends. We've been tearing ourselves apart. What do we do to overcome these hurdles? And so we coined an acronym, expanded reads Africa Public Interest Media Initiative, because we decided that given the, if you like, the media or mediums to use, to consider, then perhaps it's the media as profession of the new technologies. Like if you are thinking of digital space, now artificial intelligence. These are like magical agencies. If you master them and would use to spread knowledge, their impact is so instant. And then they don't respect the borders, the artificial borders that frustrate people.
Yes.
I will use the media and its new manifestations. Then the definition of public interest. We considered everything, and then again we came to the conclusion public interest should focus on the citizen, the person, the African person, the African personality, which has been a term that has been thrown about all of African personality, Pan-African. But what is it? Because when you focus on the person and you see him as an African citizen, the citizen is entitled because it's indigenous and it's a stakeholder on the continent. So the public interest should revolve and center on the citizen. So if we would identify the sort of things that would liberate or unleash the acknowledgement of the entitlement of the African.
The dignity.
The dignity, the respect as human. To be the definition of public interest. And then you are using the new technologies, media technologies, to espouse and relay across the continent for all the people to get to know that I'm an African, I belong to this continent full of natural wealth, full of people who are coming to constitute a whole quarter of global population. But who so far have been kept under the jackboots of others, denied the dignities, the respect, the fundamental human rights that even the United Nations, our government subscribe to. And that we should kick away all these usurpers. So the wealth of the land, we become serious, fair sharers in the wealth. And that through this to youth, who incidentally also constitute already about 60% of our populations, people under 35. They are majority on the continent, and they are better educated, they're learning fast. Incidentally, they're also trying to master the new technologies.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we would talk to free the pigeonholing of their vision and that sort of thing, so they come to see the benefits here on our land and their entitlement to share in these benefits, we would be unleashing such a powerful force. They would then contribute to giving themselves and their states the sort of governance, inclusive governance, that would ensure that people who become privileged to serve them as, say, presidents or governments or ministers, they would know that their people
It's
know.
a privilege, yes.
So they would serve with integrity. These people would serve with integrity, and they would be accountable. When we get it going like that, we wouldn't be used like the reservoir for other people coming from other continents to just come and exploit us and leave a pittance, peanuts to us. There's a typical example. Not too long ago, we learned that in one of the Gulf states, in 1 year, gold from Ghana that got landed there was valued at about 7 billion United States.
Wow.
1 year. But you come to Ghana, go to the central bank, about the exports that left Ghana, gold exports to that particular country, they tell you just $2 billion. How do we reconcile this? It's like these people come, as they give a pittance to us, the natives, and they smuggle the thing out. And then we continue to moan, we are poor, and no. It's making people aware of the true situations in which we are. The natural wealth, the quality of people learning. So we free ourselves of the frustrations that drive our youth to risk their lives crossing Sahara, Mediterranean, to go and find greener pastures in Europe. Europe is not better endowed in terms of resources and opportunities than Africa. And yet our people keep going there. And it's all because we haven't taken pains to analyze the situation and to advocate, to sort of take the veils out of our visions for us to believe in ourselves and to get governments that would really lead us to exploit.
It's so exciting listening to you. I can feel the passion. I can feel
because I've seen it.
Yes, yes. And I'm excited you're speaking to young people, but I'll come to the young people.
Yeah.
My first interest now would be, you're one of the only leader I can remember that as African leader who truly understands the power of the media in transforming a people.
Well, we've considered.
I honestly, but where does the foundation, the John Kufuor Foundation, comes in to the Africa public interest media?
I was privileged from young age. In my 20s, well, I qualified as a barrister in Britain at age 22 and a bit.
Wow.
Lincoln's Inn in London. And then studied in Oxford, philosophy, politics, and economics. So I was fortunate to have got some insights into how they organize things in Europe for themselves, down history. And then I came back to Ghana, 65, and practiced a bit as a lawyer. But then, soon after, I was appointed to be the city manager or town clerk of the second city of Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Before I was 30, I was managing the whole city. Now population of Kumasi would be about 3 million, 4 million.
Wow.
Yes, conservancy, education, engineering, and everything, they all work to me. So I got a feeling of administration of such a big city. Yes. And then age 30, I got elected to Parliament of Ghana.
At 30?
At 30, and at that age, I was made the Deputy Foreign Minister of Ghana.
Wow.
Which exposed me internationally, United Nations, African Union, non-aligned movement, and also even the bilateral relations between Ghana and. So I traveled all over international conferences, sometimes leading Ghana delegations.
Okay.
So I began to wonder, how come we are not making headway as we should? Unfortunately, a short period of my initial teething into politics, we suffered a coup d'etat. The soldiers came back to remove us, possibly, and I got thrown into prison detention for over a year without trial or accusation or anything. So it forced me to think and think again. And then from there, that was 72 to about 73. From there, I also ventured out into business. And that's where I got convinced that we had all the wealth we would need if we give ourselves good governance and good leadership to effect the changes to better the lot of our people across the board. So I marked time, believing the soldiers would go back to barracks and allow. Well, that from 73, I kept marking time. 79, the soldiers came just for a short period of 2 years. They went back to barracks. And again, I was back in Parliament, but that time into opposition. So I know government side, I know opposition.
You know the opposition side. Yes.
And the unfairness of the situation. For instance, there was a law that the independent Ghana had inherited from colonial Britain. I think the title was Criminal Libel Law, by which the government virtually zipped the media from criticizing unduly. And when you are in opposition in our parts, suffering this sort of law, you see all the wrongs of, say, the prevailing government, and yet there's nothing you do. Otherwise, you are thrown into prison. So we marked time. And eventually, 2000, the year 2000, I got elected by the people of Ghana to assume power. Immediately, I was sworn in. The first law I ensured was repealed, was criminal libel law.
Wow.
To free the media so people could express themselves. Of course, there are the limits, all right. If you go seditious,
of course,
then the law will be, or libelous, the law. But if you kept within these reasonable limits. And with that, we saw a mushrooming of FM stations all over Ghana. Now I'm sure they number towards 1,000. And even the freed media this way turned themselves even on my government. But I asked for it, and I thought it might be good. And truly, it's proving good because it informs. The quickest way, if we depend on the regular education, going through school to free you, it takes donkey ages. You won't get there. But the media, whether it's radio, the screen, or paper, print, it has this power. And when you add the narratives and the entertainment and all that into media, I don't see an agency that has the impact that media
has.
Yeah. So that's how my government, 8 years, it worked for us. And so into my retirement, I thought I should set up a foundation. You asked about the foundation.
Yes.
And I titled the foundation, John Kufuor Foundation for Leadership, very critical, governance, development, Leadership, because I saw, when I look at the continent, I should say over the past 500 years, Africa, whether from the east or from the west, has been so ill-treated. They took the confidence. The forces from around the world just wanted to reduce Africa into like second-rate humanity, virtually trying to kill our self-confidence, without which you can't really achieve anything. And so even into independence, the period came that some people, leaders came to be styled as strong men, who really usurped power, dominated their people without accountability, destroyed people, humanity, and got away, and then continued to sit on us. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, not respecting constitutions. So I looked at it and said, no, the solution should be to address the youth through this foundation. Let them see the uses of leadership. Let them come to appreciate that you are a leader because your people, if you subscribe to humanity, all humanity is embedded with sovereignty. And that to be a leader, the majority of the people must agree to give you their power to sort of take them to a vision that would yield positively to improve the lot of all of them, inclusively. So if you are going to be a leader, we wanted to mentor the youth, then know that you must be the servant of the majority of the people who would give their power to you. Servant leadership. And that you must also know your people, the terrain, the ambitions, their sufferings, and believe, really prepare yourself to put together the sort of teams that would enable you, render the services that would lift your people out of the difficulties into the stage where they begin to feel the dividends collectively of good. So that, and then governance, of course, is the overall mechanism to render, and must be inclusive. Because again, we are divided on basis of tribe, religion, age, wealth,
gender, yes.
So it's inclusive governance, but you must know the lay of the land and see how you sort of fix your policies, underpinning it with equality of opportunity. Because some may be born rich, but they tend to be minority. But the generality of people may be coming from backgrounds that may be, in inverted commas, illiterate, deprived, and so forth and so on. It should be your government that should enable, stretch a helping hand. The government should stretch a helping hand to ensure that the people, everybody is given a fair start, equality of opportunity. So my government, for instance, introduced what we described as free, compulsory, universal basic education for all the children of Ghana at the expense of, from age 4, we included kindergarten in primary school, to hold them till they're about 14, 15, by which time they would have finished kindergarten, primary, elementary, junior high school.
Wow.
And suppose they are not talented to go academic, they would be ready to do the
vocational.
But if they're academic, then you put them on. And also girl child. Before us, the teenagers, because these days they grow quickly. By age 11, before you know it,
they're pregnant.
They are becoming mothers when they can't even look after themselves well. So we said, no, keep them in schools. Give them a free hot meal a day.
Oh, wow.
Yes, our government introduced it. While they are come from remote parts and they are, say, public transportation, let them have free rides on buses.
Wow.
We did that. We introduced a national health insurance scheme, by which a subscribing father, himself, his wife, and children under 18, paying the equivalent of just about $7 US. All of them would be entitled for a whole year, yes.
Wow.
So this, again, inclusiveness. So even as their brain power is improved through education and healthcare and that sort of thing, they become better citizens.
Absolutely.
And then they can take positions to ensure that they are not taken for a ride in governance and that sort of thing. And we concluded by saying, if you really want to develop wholesomely, these were the approaches. And so the 8-year, 2 terms for 4 years each that I got, you can check with the Statistical Department of Ghana. It proved to be the period of the highest growth for the nation.
In the history of the nation.
Yes. We came in 2001, the per capita income was under $400. By 2006, all within a period of 6 years, per capita jumped to about $1,300.
Wow. That's a miracle economics.
And we didn't have to detain people without due process of the law.
No wonder you're called the father of modern Ghana, indeed.
So from this background, I decided to mentor the youth, and I formed this foundation.
Okay.
2011, the legacy I wanted to leave with them, to prepare themselves, because governance tends to be very difficult. As I said, know the people domestically as well as also understand geopolitics. Because the forces, sometimes the fault does not lie within
Africa.
They come from outside. And if you are not aware, they take you for a ride, destroy you. So, and then later, this foundation matured, and the University of Ghana appreciated what I was trying to do. They gave me a plot of land on campus.
Oh, wow.
So I'm trying to build a mentoring center. And and we have got...
University of Ghana.
You go there, you see. We haven't finished because I'm overdrawn. I feel so strapped, and I need the help to continue. And it's not just for Ghana. I want it for Africa.
Across the continent.
Yes. So the youth, fortunately, they are majority already of the population. And my foundation has become so popular on campus. So we target the tertiary institutions. Till last year, every year we recruited just 30 students from among the universities of Ghana, and there are about 30 universities.
Okay.
There are 30, and the panel of selectors, I'm not one of them, they advertise for students to apply.
Okay.
The selection is done on merit.
Wow.
And online. So it's not a matter of I know you or you are from my tribe or religion or whatever. The interesting thing is, last year, for instance, just for 30 places, the applications exceeded 3,000.
Oh, wow.
From all the universities. And this year, I think the panel selected 40 students. And 2 came from Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
And 1 from Zimbabwe. So it's spreading.
Outside of Ghana, people are coming.
Slowly. But the interesting thing is, this year of the selection, majority turned out to be girls. Before, the boys predominated. Now the girls, they are proving smarter than the boys. So this is what the foundation has been trying to do. And it all ties in with what we're talking about, public interest. We believe if we use the media to push
the narrative,
contribute to and giving us, if you like, enlightenment across the continent. Forget the languages, forget of the borders and governments and sovereignty of states and that sort of thing. That targets the Africans, people. Let them see the benefits when they pull together. Let them see what lies ahead globally, that your continent has the majority, or going to hold as much as 1/5 of the whole world's population. And we are young people. When Europe is tired and is coming down, even China is now suffering population decline. You have 2 billion
And growing.
Healthy, growing, wanting to use their energies for things, and you've got all the land for investments and all that. We may not have the capital immediately. We may not have the technologies immediately. But the others, they want to come and exploit. If you give yourself the right governance and good leadership, these people would come. They come for what they want, but you
use it.
Others, you would take what you want from them.
Wow.
It's a matter of striking a balance. It should be win-win for us and for
the partners too.
But that's not what we've got yet. And we find that it's through media with the new technologies that Africa would be awakened to fashion itself to join in as quickly as possible, because they won't wait for us.
Wow.
They are going so fast and so smooth and smart.
Wow.
If we are not careful, they will come with their superior technologies, and then this time around, they won't give us a chance to break loose from them.
True. Wow, Your Excellency, I'm almost tempted to still continue, but I know we need to come to a close at some point.
Yes.
And it's been so refreshing hearing from you, drawing from this deep wealth of experience. Media indeed is an equalizer, and we're going to use all the platforms to push out this message.
Please.
But before we round up, I want you to speak 2 questions before we round up. First one, speak to these young people. You emerged as a leader from your youthful days, from the stories you've shared. You made a difference. You ran a city. It's a lot.
Yeah.
What was that key ingredient that helped you in that journey that our young people can imbibe going forward?
I was young when I got the opportunity. And yes, perhaps I was privileged, yes. Perhaps I had a bit of talent, yes. But I never saw myself as the only pebble on the beach. I saw many, some even perhaps better, just that they lacked the, if you like, social and other opportunities. And this is why when I got the opportunity as government, as I say, we were quick, one, to free the media from that law, criminal libel law, and then pushed on with free, compulsory, universal basic education for all children from age 4. And then added the national insurance policy so the human individual would come into his own. And it's something that came to me, perhaps through my schooling and also exposure to the world. I saw the man's inhumanity to men and unfairness of the whole situation. And so I felt it so much. That's it. I enshrined humanity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Okay.
My last question will be, what's your take, what would you say to leaders? I was watching the room yesterday. Every leader felt it a privilege to have you there, to shake your hands, to hear from you. And I'm talking about current leaders.
I plead with them, and I pray that they would all take a step back and appreciate the disdain the African suffers in many situations around the world. Let's look at America now. Foremost nation in terms of technological, financial development, and it came to benefit on the backs of blacks, taken forcibly from Africa there to help build what became the United States. Centuries. But see how the blacks are treated over there now, even now. Go to Europe, when they are talking migration, invariably they are targeting the people from Africa. Everybody somehow wants to talk down to Africa. So our leaders, I plead with them, please let them appreciate that not until they would respect the people they purport to lead, others from outside would not come to respect us. The African Union's constitution, the constitutive act of the Union, that's the constitution, really proscribed usurpation of governments. If you stage a coup, you are out of the Union, meaning succession should be constitutional, legitimate of the people. You want to be leader, let the national constitution work. But what we see, on eve of some president having to step down because of the
their term limits.
Yes, the period coming to an end. The people become clever and change the constitution so they can continue endlessly. You're violating the constitution which you saw to become who you became. And that's cheating your people. You think the world is not seeing? So if you treat your people that way, you think others from outside our continent would respect your people. And it contributes to all the indignities perpetrated on us. So I would entreat our leaders, please respect your people. Please be true servant leaders of your people. Please don't pretend you are the only smart guy anywhere. You are the only person with a vision and commitment to do right for the people. When you take power by constitution, respect that constitution. When your term is up, let the people choose the successor and carry on. And from outside office, you can still contribute. I speak from experience. My term ended 2008. I tell you, perhaps I've been busier since then, stepping down, than even when I was in office, both domestically and internationally. So let's work on this basis and show respect to our people, so the rest of the world would also come to respect Africa.
Wow. It couldn't be better. And as you're speaking, I feel goosebumps all over me.
Thank you.
Until our leaders respect the people they lead, the world would never respect Africans. When they speak immigration issues and policies around the world, largely they are targeting Africa.
Yes.
It's time we reclaim our dignity.
Yes.
And I am truly inspired, Your Excellency.
Please.
I cannot thank you enough. We'll do our bit through the media that you discovered and liberated many years ago as president. Use it to push this message, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
As a tradition, these were not among the questions. We'd like to know two, three things. What's your favorite Ghanaian food?
I'm from the forest. The staple in my infancy was like fufu, you know fufu, and soup. And fufu in the forest originally would be plantain and say cocoyam.
Okay.
But now, because of the population explosion, we are all forced to use rice too as a staple. And I say I'm from forest, but now I live.
You live in the city.
In the city. So rice, people are rushing around, and if you go pound fufu, it takes so much time. So rice has become the staple for me. But I still love my soup.
Fufu when the opportunity
comes. When the opportunity comes. Yes. So that's something.
Which is your favorite sport?
Well, I used to love. When I was in secondary school,
yes,
I was part of the college athletic team.
Oh, wow.
Champion for discus, throwing, and shot put. I love soccer. Wow. I was champion. I was chairman of Asante Kotoko Football Club.
Oh, wow.
For years, which was champion club, and we've been on the continent.
Oh, wow.
Everybody knows Kotoko. And table tennis was another thing. I love sports generally.
Oh, great. My son and I argue. He is an Arsenal fan. I am a Manchester.
Well,
but recently, I'm looking for an African football club to support. So
well,
I tell you, I'm a Rangers fan.
Yes.
But thank you so much, Your Excellency.
You're welcome.
It's been a refreshing time having this conversation. It's priceless for me personally. And I'm sure
I hope I've come across well, but whatever I've told you,
it's from the heart.
Seriously.
Yes, we see.
Africa must really be up and about, really leapfrogging into the mainstream of globalization. We shouldn't continue to be so dependent, to be treated like second-rate humanity.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
You're welcome.
That brings us to the end of this conversation. I wish would continue, but we will have opportunity, hopefully another day, to speak with His Excellency, to share from his deep words of wisdom. And you can't get this in any business school. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you, and God bless you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.